Follow the Path. The Bears Grove is adult-level discussion of role-playing as a storytelling art at samchupmedia.com.
Hi there, this is Sam. I hope you are all doing wonderfully well on this spooky eve. We are once again in my car, and you'll have to apologize for the various sounds, but I can definitely focus on driving and talk at the same time. I've been doing it all my life. At any rate, I wanted to talk a little bit about some news. There has been recently online a switch to the Mastodon platform from a lot of role-playing, game design, ttrpg folks out there in the world. They've started to go towards the Mastodon series of instances. Mastodon is a open source federated connection of microblogging platforms, and that's what Twitter is. It's a microblogging platform, and it is designed to be flexible, to be interconnected, and to allow people to just, if you want to start your own Twitter, you can launch a server and you've got your own Twitter. Now, that's very simplistic. Obviously, there is a lot, and I mean a lot, of technical know-how needed and a lot of technical resources needed. You have to have, one thing that you really have to have is basically enough bandwidth and enough memory and enough CPU and enough storage on your server. So it's not a simple matter. It's just something I want to make sure everybody knows. But I have found a Mastodon instance called dice.camp, run by Sage. And Sage is one of the wonderful people who put together the Dungeon World game powered by the Apocalypse. And I've got to say, I'm really enjoying the fact that I can be connected to people in the ttrpg industry without having to do a lot of extra work. I am able to put Mastodon on my as an app on my phone, and so what happens is there's different kinds of feeds that you have. There's the public feed, which is when you connect with somebody, you're also connecting with their instance, and then you start to get stuff from their instances as well. I've started to get a lot of info security stuff on top of the ttrpg stuff, which I'm slowly weaning back, but ultimately I'm really enjoying the fact that I can, that there's people coming to the platform now because of the change in ownership of Twitter. I mean, that's basically it. Whether you love Elon Musk or don't like him, he owns Twitter now. And a lot of people are concerned that his free speech platform talk is going to mean that anything goes. And, you know, that's yet to be seen. I don't know if it will or will not. But the thing of it is, I am not the sort of guy to run other people down. Per se, I'm not interested in doing that. There are a lot of people who do already. What I want to do is just simply say, hey, look, there's this alternative. And the alternative is a Mastodon instance. Now, one of the problems that is currently going on is that a lot of people who are running instances do not have bandwidth or resources for new people. So you'll see that their that their instance is closed to new people. And that's, it is a bit of a problem. That's part of the concept of it does require computer resources to have an instance. And what I'm thinking about here is that this is the time when communities should, and I say should advisedly. Oh, great. All right, I'm back. It was just I don't know if it was a cortege or if it was somebody in the government that they were being escorted by a motorcycle cop. And there you go. Anyway, so what I was saying is it's time for the community to come together and support people who've already been in this space by helping them fund their servers. To my mind, that's the best way to go about it. Not everybody doesn't need to go out there and buy themselves a server. Although, you can, but not everybody needs to do that, and frankly, it's expensive. So if we help the people who've already done so, that would be the best outcome. Now, there are a lot of people who are like, well, I don't want to mess with that. I don't want to take in donations and have to account for all that stuff and whatever. Okay, fine. But maybe somebody will, you never know. I am not at that place in my life right now where I can start a server and make it work and, do that. I just don't have the money. But I mean, after all, I'm a game designer, so I don't make a lot of money. I'm actually a tech support guy too. But anyway, suffice it to say, it costs money, and as much as we'd like for everything to be free, which I'd love that, it's not. So at any rate, that's the story about Mastodon, and I encourage you to take a look. I don't know if dice.camp has shut their doors yet or not for now, but that's the one that I'm on, and I really like it because it's ttrpg, tabletop role-playing game friendly. It's the focus on that whole server. So you hit the local feed on it, and it's like, wow, it's all gaming all the time. It's wonderful. Okay. So the other thing I wanted to talk about today is the concept of multiple levels of game within a game. So I was having a conversation with Jason Peter. I don't know if that's how you say Petrie? I got to learn how to say that. At any rate, Jason, who is also one of the wonderful people, I believe, who was part of he's definitely part of Fate Core. He was talking to me about this concept on Mastodon, actually. And so basically the idea, if I can encapsulate it for you, is what if we had a game on top of a game? Okay? So, for example, a board game that has resource management, that has strategy, it has tactics. It addresses a background to the game, okay? That background informs the game that you're playing, and it creates story. At the same time, you're interacting with it. And what you do in the role-playing level of the game, get this, affects the board game level of the game. Okay? And it gets a little fiddly, as they call it. There's lots of details to keep track of, right? There's lots of information that you need to be looking at if you have that situation. But what a cool thing if you have the time and the attention level to set up and make happen, right? Now, let's address that last point. Time and attention are precious things, yes. But also, let's be honest, have you ever, I don't know if you've ever left a board game out saying, okay, we're going to leave this out on the table, we're going to come back to it and start playing again next week. that doesn't work. It doesn't work. Especially if you have cats. I have 2 cats, and I gotta tell you, if I left my board game out for a week, they would be playing with the tokens. They would be on the map. They'd be doing all kinds of things. It would be terrible, and I would completely lose track of where I was. So, plus, all of my gaming lately has been virtually online. Has been online through a virtual tabletop. So, what does that point to? Well, it points to the fact that if we are going to do this board game, it needs to be compatible with a virtual tabletop at the very least. But even better would be a computer-mediated, like a digitally mediated experience where you have the intelligence, the software, working to keep track of all the fiddly bits for you, okay? And to interrogate each player in turn to say, hey, what do you want to do with this round? And then also provide an ongoing list of what has gone before, right? An ongoing list of the ability to figure out, okay, all right, this is what happened in the game, in the board game level. And then, of course, the storyteller, GM, whoever you want to call them, she has to go in and actually make the changes to update the board game level as to what happened in the role-playing aspect. And I personally think we need to be able to sit down at the gaming table on Thursday night or whenever we play and have a brief synopsis of what took place in the board game while we were not playing, and have it inform how much time has passed between gaming sessions, right? Like between the last session of role-playing, how much time went forward. And this will, to my mind, first do a couple of different things. First of all, it will address the problem that I always have with role-playing games, and that is everything happens in a compressed time scale, okay? Because players want that, or they don't want to have to wait. They don't want to think of their characters having to wait. So, you can't just say, frequently I can't just say, well, okay, so 3 days pass, and then, wait, 3 days passed, hold on a second, I wanted to study for this spell, or I wanted to do some experimentation on the alchemical lab, or I want to do this, that, and the other thing. And what that's talking about is downtime. Basically what a group does, what players do, what players' characters do when they aren't on stage, as it were. And so what this board game is going to do is basically say, okay, there are things going on, and it has to encompass the downtime concept. So, this board game has to say, you have to be able to say as a player, all right, I'm going to use the board game to design that potion that I've always wanted, or to do the research in the Duke's library to find out who's really, the lord of Bespoke Manor, or whatever. There's all these different things you can be doing in the board game that affects and informs the role-playing game. Jason's got it on a completely different level. He wants 3 different levels. He's going for the whole Dune concept of, Paul Atreides as Muad'Dib, Paul Atreides as the Emperor of the Universe, Paul Atreides as the head of his family household. That kind of level, different levels of experience. And I think that this idea of a computer-regulated, mediated game is going to be a board game that faces with and interacts with his RPG level might be the best thing to do. But, you know, all of this stuff is completely in the realm of the what if. And do I have the ability to create a computer-mediated role-playing game? Probably not. Could I write a spec for it? I might be able to, yes. And the first level really should be, let's make it happen with fiddly bits. You know, let's make a real-world board game or a board game over tabletop simulator, which is scarcely computer moderated. Okay, it's not that moderated. And by moderated, I mean the system keeps track of where all the pieces are. The system rolls your dice if you have any dice or other fortune aspects. The system does all these different things, and keeps track of it for you, and you don't have to think about it. That's the important part to me. I don't want to have to think about that whole process because I think it could slow things down. At any rate, I am at the end of my limit for time today. I really appreciate you listening to me. If you're interested in more about what I do, I invite you to go to samchup.media.com. That's SAMCHUPP media, media.com. Sam Chup Media, available to you, and that will give you my links to Drive-Thru RPG, where I've got a number of different PDFs available for sale. And this week I wanted to mention that I am working on a new game. It's a one-shot role-playing game for 6 players called Sikids. That's PSIKIDS. I'm working with myself and a couple of other artists to work for getting that part all taken care of and making that look pretty. And hopefully we'll be coming out with that soon, probably around the winter holiday time. And I hope everybody here has a great week, and I will talk to you again next time. Until then, have sweet dreams when you get them. Thanks.